Well, hi everyone. My name is Brian Cashman. I'm with the Goodhue County Education District based in Red Wing and also with the SE Perkins Consortium. And in that role, I work with 22 high schools in Southeast Minnesota to support their career and tech education programs. And as part of the Bluff Country Collaborative Ambassador Program, we are really excited to share the stories of our local and regional professional talent representing Southeast Minnesota. And today, we're fortunate enough to have Nick Wille with us, who is just doing tremendous work in the space, and he'll describe this a little bit later, but he's been a great partner to high schools and to young people throughout the Southeast region. So Nick, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, appreciate that. Good morning to you as well.
So Nick, I think what we'll do is we'll just go through a few different questions, and really the main point of this interview is to hear your story and to hear your thoughts on the profession and your occupation, and give advice to our young people who may be watching this at some point this school year. And so we'll just start off right away with the basics. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself, your name, and what you do.
Sure. My name is Nick Wille, and I'm a business representative for the Carpenters Union. I work for the North Central States Regional Council of Carpenters, and we cover 6 states: Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and Wisconsin.
And how long have you been involved with the Carpenters Union?
I personally have been involved in the Carpenters Union for 20 years. So
wow.
I took this on right out of high school. Shortly after high school, I joined the Carpenters Union. I've been a member here ever since.
Did you grow up in Southeast Minnesota?
I did not. I grew up in up in St. Paul, actually just south of St. Paul, in a town called West St. Paul. That's where I grew up, and recently moved down to Cannon Falls, Minnesota, about 5 or 6 years ago. And I've been covering Southeast Minnesota. That's kind of my territory that I work and cover, and primarily out of the Rochester office.
Sure. All right. Well, how did you get to where you are today? What would you mind just sharing a little bit about your story? And until where we find you today?
Gladly. Yep. So I got my start basically in high school. I started to realize that I really enjoyed hands-on classes. I took every woods, metals, small gas engines, any kind of hands-on class was what I really, enjoy doing in school, and not really sure how to transition that into a career path, because my parents kept telling me, Nick, you got to go to a 4-year college. But personally, that wasn't something that I was very interested in. And so after high school, I took up a kind of during my senior year and on through right out of high school, I started doing house flipping. So just my boss would buy and sell houses, and I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the hands-on aspect. I learned a lot every day. I guess what got me to where I am now was realizing where I was just a job. It wasn't really a career path. I was being compensated money-wise fairly well, but the job didn't offer any benefits, no health insurance, no retirement. And so, not being too sure about my full path, I started doing some exploring, and I found the Carpenters Union, and realizing that they offered health insurance and retirement and a better wage. So I put in my notice at my house flipping job and started a career with the Carpenters Union, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, wow. And thanks for sharing that. That's just a great perspective to have. And when you think of what you've done professionally, Nick, in your experience, what's the future of the industry? What's the future of carpentry? What's the future of the trade union? Thoughts on what lies ahead for that career pathway?
That's a good question. Busy. We've been very, very busy building. There's bonding bills at the state level for infrastructure. We do build a lot of bridges and do a lot of kind of road work and school work. So very busy, and you can't outsource hands-on jobs. You can't bring in a building from overseas and plop it down and call it good. It has to be done on site, built on site by tradesmen. And carpenters are the largest building trade. We have a lot of members. In our council, we have 28,000 members in our 6-state council, and growing. So things are good. Things are busy, and contractors are always looking for new, fresh people to join their companies and become, the foremen, superintendents, project managers, estimators. It's all there, and and they're eager to find new people to come into their companies.
Well, it sounds like a young person could enroll in your organization and really make a career. They could be a career-long individual with different responsibilities within the carpenter space. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Coming out of high school, a young apprentice can join the apprenticeship program. They earn while they learn. So over the course of the 4-year apprenticeship program, they'll make about $200,000. The schooling is free, so there's no cost, there's no tuition costs. And the Carpenters Union actually pays their apprentices to go to school. So while you earn while you learn, that meaning when you're not in school, you're on site working for our contractors, making a good wage, getting health insurance and retirement. And then 1 week every 3 months, you come into our training center and you learn different aspects of carpentry while you're here.
Sure. Well, what a great opportunity.
It really is. I do agree with you. There's no real downside to it. The wages, the benefits, the schooling, we're there to help them through it and make them into good carpenters and foremen and superintendents.
So we're hoping that quite a few high school students will be viewing this interview, 9th graders, 10th graders, up to 11th and 12th graders. If you had 2 or 3 pieces of advice for young people today, what would that be?
Yeah, my advice to young people when it's going into the workforce these days, there's 3 things you got to do. I think you got to do them every single day, and you got to do them consistently. And that is, you got to show up on time. That's extremely important, to be there on time. And on time isn't, if start time is 7 a.m., getting there at 6:59 isn't really on time. There's a lot of things that need to be discussed before the day starts. Maybe there was a night shift and there were some new hazards that came about during that night shift that the day shift needs to be aware of. So they share that information with the crew before they get started at 7. So it's important to be there and just be ready to start your day. So showing up on time is extremely important. Working hard. Contractors pay a lot of money. Some of these carpenters are getting paid, a total package of $60 an hour. That's $1 per minute. That's a lot of money. And if you're standing around not being productive, every minute you're standing around not being productive is costing the contractor money. So it's important that you're productive 8 hours a day. And then lastly, is having a good attitude. It's very important to have a good attitude. It's good for morale for the crew. It helps with safety and productivity. So morale is big, and a good attitude goes a long way. And if you can do those 3 things successfully, you're going to make it no matter where you go.
That's really good advice. And maybe on that note, Nick, and the final question for you, anything else you'd like to share with the high school students that are viewing this interview?
Yeah. Going into the workforce, there's a lot of competition for people coming into the workforce. And so don't sell yourself short just having a job. Make sure that whatever career path you do take, I offer you 3 things. And those 3 things, I believe, are a living wage, a wage you can afford to put a roof over your family's head, clothes on their back, food in their mouth, and hopefully take a vacation because you're going to work hard to do that. Secondly, make sure you get health insurance. It's important to have that for your family, to care of your children and your spouse, and have a good, healthy life, and make sure you're taken care of on those things. And then also retirement. Make sure that whatever you're doing, you're going to get good retirement so that you can put in a good career and then retire with some dignity someday. So don't sell yourself short working for $20 an hour and not getting those 2 other things, because really that's what a career should offer you, is those 3 things. So don't sell yourself short of that. Make sure you're getting that. And if the job that you're in isn't giving you health insurance and retirement, find a new career that does, because they're out there. There's lots of them.
Boy, that's just really invaluable advice. I think it's harder when I'm thinking back when I was 17 and 18, didn't really have a radar for the health insurance and retirement, but you're right, Nick, it's incredibly important. So I do appreciate you sharing that. And it sounds like, again, the Carpenters Union offers this career pathway that includes all those things that you just mentioned. And so maybe just, I know I said I had a final question, but final question. If a student was interested in learning more about your program, what would be the next steps for them?
Have them get a hold of me. My phone number, 651-341-4448. Just give me a call. I'll be happy to talk you through our wages and benefits. I'll be happy to give you a tour of our training center. You can meet our instructor and see our facility. Be happy to set up a job shadow. Maybe you could spend a day visiting one of our contractors and seeing what it's like to actually do it before you would commit to it, so you have a better idea. Happy to set that kind of stuff up. So give me a call, and that'd be one great way. Or you can text me if that's what you'd like to do. Or I guess my email address is nwille@ncsrcc.org. Shoot me an email. Either way is perfectly fine. And if you would like to just stop into our training center someday, and you can do that as well. Maybe I'll be here. If not, the admin will get an appointment set up and I'll be able to meet with you.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Nick. And again, thanks for your time this morning and talking about a little bit of your story and advice to our young people. It's been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I enjoyed this as well. Thank you, Brian.